Hello, welcome to the first DJ Force X podcast of 2016. We made it, just about. I hope you all had a good Christmas, good New Year's as well. Hope you all stayed safe, had fun, got everything you wanted, gave everything you wanted, and yeah, just had a great time. I was back in the UK for a couple of weeks. It was great, kind of a bit too quick. We just hit the ground running and didn't really stop until we were on the plane back. So, yeah, we got to see a lot of family though, which was great. And a few of my friends as well, which was also great. But we'll be back again soon. Don't worry. I won't leave it so long next time. Try not to. Anyway, this podcast, to kick off the new year, I've got a double header for you. First up, I've got Jerry, Justin and Xermane from a new band called Jynx. Check them out at We Are Jynx on Twitter. Follow their links on there and get some of their music. It's good stuff. I've also got David from Bury Tomorrow discussing their new album briefly. It's a very quick interview. It's probably about 10 minutes long, but it'll be on the end of this one. So yeah, a lot to talk about. I'll chat at the end of the podcast about it as well. But here we go. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's show. I have very special guests this week. I have Jerry, Justin, and Xermane from the band Jynx. Welcome, guys.
What's up? Hey, how's it going?
How you doing today?
Hanging out.
Good.
Cool. Well, Jynx, you're a new band, but if you don't mind, could you give me some background?
Let's see. We started talking about doing the band the beginning of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
My former band broke up, and us and our singer Christian started hanging out a lot. We were good friends for a long time, and we just kind of decided that it was the right time to do something new and just try something different than anything we've been in before. So that's kind of just where we went off.
Cool. Listening to your EP, Taker, your sound to me mixes some of the elements of the sort of late 90s, early to mid 2000s sound. With today's kind of metalcore genre. Was that a conscious decision when you formed, or was that something that just evolved as you started writing together?
I would say it was a pretty conscious decision. I was a huge new metal kid.
Cool.
I had fucking box braids and all that stupid shit when I was a kid. I don't know. It was always a genre of music that stuck out to me when I was an angsty 14-year-old, you know.
Mm.
And I wanted to take what got me into playing music and apply that to everything I loved about modern metal, that, you know, the stuff that kept me into music today.
Okay, cool.
You know what's interesting though? I wasn't in the band originally, and Christian, our vocalist, he showed me the first demos of this band, like when you guys were just getting together, and I was like, this kind of sounds like Kill Switch. So from that early shit, it's definitely gone in a very different direction.
Nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
yeah, it was definitely a little more. It was a little too metal when I started, and we kind of just reworked the songs from the ground up to just kind of make it make a little more sense into today's sound.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, adding the DJ element, which kind of disappeared for a while, apart from the sort of bigger bands of that time that are still around, Deftones and Limp Bizkit and things like that. I was a DJ in a metal band for about 10 years, so that's how I kind of instantly gravitated to your sound.
Sweet.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, it's getting played on my show, and I'm going to get you guys in for an interview. So with the DJ element, was that something you brought in straight away with Xermane?
It wasn't right away.
No?
We had everything kind of written, and we were working with a producer, and when we recorded our first demo, he brought up the idea that adding some of this, the more DJ aspect to everything would make something really cool. And that's kind of where we got it from. So our drummer and bass player were really good friends with Xermane, and they called him over one day. We actually wrote and recorded all of our demo tracks in my backyard and barbecued every day while we did it.
Nice. Sounds really cool.
So we met over that. And
Yeah.
that's just kind of where it like culminated from.
Cool. So, what influence would you say you guys have?
I would definitely say that our city is definitely a huge influence on us.
Yeah.
It's a big mixed bag of people and personalities, and that's something that we wanted to reflect through our music. You know, there's so many different music movements that came out of New York, and everything's influential, and you know, nobody's drawn to one type of music. Everybody has their tastes.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to add that to our sound.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, being from New York, there's a few bands that came out of there that have been like huge, as well as a sort of underground. I was into the sort of New York hardcore sound for a lot of time, a long while, like Vision of Disorder and bands of that ilk. And I was just seeing where you guys lie, where those bands sort of sat with you. Obviously, like you say, it's a mixed bag of what came out of there. But are there any bands in particular that kind of paved the way for you guys?
From the New York scene, I would definitely say that you know, those older bands like VOD and shit like that was definitely a big influence. There was actually some like more like, I mean, my favorite hardcore band, like New York hardcore band ever, is Buried Alive. Like they're just something that band did that nobody was doing at the time for me. Which is funny because I think Scott Vogel's one of the most interesting characters in the world. But yeah, those bands definitely had an influence in you know, that early sound, because they were also kind of blending what else was going on. They were very aware of everything that was going on musically at the time.
You've got an EP out right now. It's called Taker. It's available, I'm guessing, across all formats, streaming and download and physical otherwise.
Yes.
Is that correct? Cool. It's a good 6-song. So tell me about Taker. What was the story behind that?
I think, again, it was just kind of a mixed bag of things. I don't think we initially planned it to actually be an EP at first.
Okay.
We just wrote a bunch of songs and wanted to see what stuck, and we realized that they all had a kind of flow and everything just kind of went well together.
Yeah.
Thematically, though, there's kind of like this thing that revealed itself over the course of time that wasn't like a conscious thing, but then it became like a common thread of just having this mask you put on for society. So we kind of had it be like a figurative and a literal thing in our imagery as well.
Cool.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a big portion of it where, you know, everybody wakes up every day and they go outside, and instead of being themselves, they put on this, you know, facade of what they think is acceptable to present, as opposed to, you know, just being themselves. And, you know, that's the whole idea behind us and the mask and the image and what we talk about in our songs. It's really based off of, you know, that's what the title track is based off of, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten asked like why we don't wear masks when we play, and to us it's just like that's the only 30 minutes where where it's acceptable for us to be ourselves.
Yeah.
Also, it'd be uncomfortable as shit.
It
is.
They smell pretty shitty when you're sweating them.
They do. Yeah. They do. Yes. I've been there.
The first plastic ones we had like cut into our faces too.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks. How long has the EP been out?
Shit. I think we put it out in September.
October, right?
Yeah. Wasn't it October?
October. Yeah, it was October.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
cool.
On your
Shit.
birthday,
It came out on my birthday. What the fuck is wrong with me?
So it's been out since October. So how's it done for you? How's it raised your profile and things like that? Has it helped you?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering that like this is our very first thing and like we had like literally nothing before, I'm overwhelmed by the reception.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been pretty warm and welcoming. We've been afforded a lot of opportunities due to the EP. I mean, we got to play some pretty high profile events, you know, right out the door. So it's been pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. And was it self-released? Or
Yeah,
are you on
absolutely. Self-released.
Yeah, all self-released. Cool. So going forward, are you planning an album now? Are you just going to ride the EP for a bit longer, or have you got other plans?
We're writing right now. We're not 100% sure we want to do an album yet.
Okay.
We're going to probably do a couple singles.
Cool.
Yeah, something we were talking about was actually focusing on singles more than albums.
Yeah.
Considering that's how like kind of how people listen to music now anyway. It makes sense.
Yeah, no, there's been a few artists I've spoken to, and a lot of them are more savvy towards that particular mindset. In as much as like with like say this instance on my part, it's a podcast, and I try and release them as regularly as possible. And I always say with your content now, if as long as you keep it regular, more and more people will start listening or start contributing or whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
and I'm finding,
that's
like you say, with these singles, with the music, I feel there's a few artists that I've spoken to, and I've seen it with a few others as well, where they're releasing songs every month or 2 months, on a cycle, and then one in particular was doing 2 every 3 months with a bunch of remixes, so kind of making it, a purchase on itself, and then at the end of that 12 months, released an album with those 8 tracks, and then I think 4 others that they made.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives them, obviously, people incentive to buy that album for the same price, kind of thing. So
yeah,
and I think just like today, like you say, the way that people consume the music, you just got to keep that output regular, I guess.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, that's a good plan. I mean, like it's working for these people I've spoken to, so go with it, because albums these days, it's very difficult to get into an album, I find.
Oh yeah.
Whereas before, a lot of the albums, I wouldn't say before download, because even after downloading music, I still listen to albums. But because they're making things for people with shorter attention spans, there's no depth to these albums.
Yeah, I think a big issue with a lot of newer artists is that they find something that works for them and they just recycle that over and over again.
Yeah.
So you can listen to about 3 or 4 songs in an album and you get the gist of it. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like a collection of like 4 or 5 bangers, and then the rest of it's just pure filler.
Yeah, exactly that. And they'll just release those other ones as singles, and they'll sell as well as at the moment in the UK where I'm from. I actually live in Florida, but in the UK where I'm from at the moment, I think Justin Bieber has the top 3 songs in the singles chart.
I mean that fucking album is magical.
Oh, is it?
I've heard it's actually good.
It's actually really good. Like from a producer standpoint, like the songs are really well made.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that album was the smartest thing he could have fucking did.
Fair enough. I've not listened to it. I just see the charts, and I'm like, 3 songs of them the same artist in the top 3 kind of thing. So
I would honestly suggest listening to it. It's really fucking good.
All right, I'll line it up on Apple Music and see if I can sit through it.
It's not like that shitty, like weird bubblegum Justin Bieber that everybody's used to. It's definitely a lot more mature.
All right, cool. Well, I will check it out. I'll see what it does to me.
Jynx the Beliebers.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how I'm going to title the podcast. So
can we put out like purple t-shirts with Justin's face on it?
Wait, are Justin?
No. Well, yeah. Can we just get Justin to wear a Justin Bieber mask?
That'd be funny.
Back onto your EP, the Take a Track, the video for it. Again, you're talking about your masks and everything, how people put on masks to perceive something different about themselves. Was that the story behind the video? Was that its main focus?
Yeah, it was kind of more of like a subconscious kind of thing. Like it was more like to me, like the idea was to be like a dream sequence kind of. Like he woke up and he's not actually waking up; he's in his own mind.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much, the whole concept behind the TV is he's watching us, telling him how much of a fake piece of shit he is. I don't know. We all lead pretty non-conventional lives. Every member of the band, like we all do weird shit for ourselves, and get along. And we do it just fine, and we're fucking super happy living the lives we're living. And there's so many people who, conform to normalcy, quote unquote normalcy, and they're fucking miserable. And we just pretty much it's just an insight into like, the whole message and what we're about as a band. We just want a lot of people to open their eyes.
Cool. Cool. So what drives the band? What's your aim for the band at the moment?
Like our long-term goals?
Well, the plans you've kind of might have made already. Where would you like to see yourself in the next sort of year and a half, 2 years?
I'd like to see myself in Europe sometime.
Cool.
It's definitely a major goal of ours. Touring is definitely a big plan for us. Cool. Me and Justin were both in touring bands before this, and it's definitely been something that's ingrained into our lifestyle.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things to give up.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I was in a band for good 10 years, and we were touring UK and Europe across all there. And then when it came for it to stop, it was one of the hardest things. First couple of months were fine, I found, because you're kind of resting.
Yeah.
And then because it is ingrained, after that sort of 2 months, you start getting itchy feet, and you start wanting to go out and travel. You start wanting to go out and play shows and all that kind of stuff. And that's like, it's like a really bad detox.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Funny enough, after my last band broke up, I used to have to sleep with like a fan resting against my bed so that it felt like I was sleeping inside of a van. Yeah.
But I totally get it. It's you do have that from, you know, just having, sleeping in a van, sleeping in a tour bus, sleeping in a, you know, hotel room every other night kind of thing. Whatever level you got to, depending on where that would depend on where you slept. But I totally get it, because you sort of like, at some points I liked waking up in different towns.
Yeah.
You know, like you fall asleep after a show one night, and the next night you're 150 miles away.
Yeah.
In another city or another town, and then just sort of being in one place all the time, kind of, I don't know, it really got to me. But I've since kind of gotten over it, because I kind of joined a band part-time after my main band went down.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that kind of kept me in check almost, because we played a few shows here and there. It was mainly on like weekends and stuff, you know, in between day jobs and all that kind of rubbish. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I've almost gotten over it. I mean, I moved to Florida, so that's kind of a big jump, and that kind of,
I would say.
But then I started my radio show, which was pretty cool. So, and I've got this podcast as well, so I get to speak to guys like you about music, which is cool, because that's something I miss as well, is like speaking with other bands and, you know, sharing stories and things like that. So, you're helping me and I'm helping you. So.
Yeah, this rules. It's a pretty good symbiotic relationship.
It's good. It does. It keeps me on, like, and I've managed to meet some of the people I never actually got to meet before, which is kind of cool. So, just like Andrew WK and stuff like that. I've always wanted to kind of meet him. So
he's the man.
He was.
We actually
great.
just played at his venue.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Funny, he actually follows my girlfriend on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, he was cool. I got to meet him in the local venue in Tampa. He was touring with his band, so doing his pizza party thing. So it was kind of cool. And I got some time to interview him, which was really cool. So
what venue in Tampa?
It's called State Theatre.
Okay, I've never heard of that place.
Yeah, it's actually in St. Petersburg.
Oh, okay.
Which is part of Tampa, but it's not at the same time.
I was supposed to play a Neptune Lounge out there once, and the owner decided to like not open the doors.
Oh.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was actually the first night of tour too, and there was this band from Australia.
Yeah.
Who was out there, and they were just like, "Nah, we're not gonna open the door." So we played like a free show in a bar like down the block.
Okay. That's crazy. I've not heard of that place. So it must have closed.
Yeah, fuck that place.
That's one of my favorite things. Like when a show like doesn't happen, but then the locals like make it work.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. No, that's really cool, because that shows like, you know, a passion for music and the willingness to help, you know, or, you know, get something from it, because you've traveled all this way.
Yeah, it's definitely rough, you know, on lower level touring bands.
Mm.
And you know, the older you get, the smarter you get when it comes to planning out things like tours.
Yeah.
Which is why we haven't hit the road yet. We want to make sure, you know, all of our like, you know,
It's not like you're about to say we're smart.
What?
No, because like, you know, the smarter you are, the easier it gets, and so that's why we haven't done tours.
And then I'm apparently not too smart. I can't finish sentences. So don't let me book tours for us.
But I know what you mean. You know, as you get older and wiser to the various promoters out there, it does make it easy, because you kind of know where to look, who to ask about certain venues.
Yeah.
You know, because there are quite a lot of here in Tampa. Part of downtown Tampa in Ybor City, there's about 4 or 5 venues that are frequented by metal acts, you know. And then there's also a bunch in St. Petersburg as well. But yeah, sort of knowing which one's going to book who, where particular bands go down better, you know, you see who's played there, things like that. And that's how I used to plan out stuff as well, because I used to book for my band because we kind of self-managed. And you sort of get you try out a few venues first timers, and if they're any good, you go back. And if you have any issues, then they go in. The issues go down somewhere, and if that continues, then they go down in your little black bookers with a red line through them, and then you pass that on to other bands if they ask about it. So there are people out there that'll mess you around, but hopefully you can get enough knowledge not to approach those people. So and having a promoter not opening the door for you at a venue, I mean that's. What was there any? Did the guy give a reason for that, or was it just?
No, he literally was just like, he's like, I don't think the show is gonna do well, so I'm not opening doors.
Oh,
yeah.
And he didn't feel to tell you that beforehand.
No, we found out as soon as we pulled up to the venue.
Oh.
And there was like 5 bands outside. And there was a good, I would say about 40 or 50 kids at the door already, and this was just at load-in.
Okay.
So it wasn't bad. It was just a little wild because like neither band that was on that was on the package have played Florida before that.
Okay.
So it was interesting.
What bands would you love to play with? If you had your pick of a band to support or take on tour with you, who would it be?
Cradle of Filth.
Oh, nice.
No,
random, but nice.
Realistically, I'd like to hit the road with a lot of, similar like-minded bands, but I'd really like to hit the road with more like kind of polar opposite bands from us, just so, when bands that sound similar tour together, you're only bringing one niche crowd to a venue. So, like, I definitely think because we have such a vast influence musically, we do flirt with other, genres.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in it for everyone.
Yeah.
So like the last show we played with like Aiden, and we actually got a really good reception.
I was surprised by a response we got that show.
Yeah, and that band is they're just straight up goth punk, and people were they were all about it. So it was really cool. So like that's definitely a major goal. There's definitely bands that I love that I'm friends with that I'd love to hit the road with, like Sirens and Sailors.
Circuit of Suns.
Circuit of Suns is a up and coming band that I actually used to share a band with, and we really want to hit the road with them because they're very like minded with like the whole genre blending thing.
Yeah.
Sirens and Sailors too. Like they were like some of my favorite guys to be on the road with. They're so much fun.
Cool.
I played football with them in a parking lot in Ohio, but not with a football. We played it with a dildo. And ever since then, we just kind of stood really good friends. That's how we met.
Yeah, that'll form a lot of relationships. That will.
Yeah. So if anybody listening to this, if you want to make friends with somebody, just chuck a dildo at them and tell them to go along.
See what you did there.
Oh wow, I didn't even see what they did there.
Nice.
Oh shit.
The ultimate band though I want to tour with is fucking Duran Gray.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And I feel like that'll be such like a good like mix for us too.
Yeah.
For that band.
I just think you're being biased because you're Asian.
Maybe. So I want to tour with Baby Metal too.
Oh,
dude,
man.
I would kill the tour at Baby Metal. That would be the shit.
Oh.
They're coming on tour soon. Definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
We'd see how we can get on the opening slot.
Yeah. I don't know if you checked out a band called Crossfaith.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
band's great.
I played Warped Tour with them a couple years ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That band fucking rules.
Mm.
They were really sick.
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times, and they were just fantastic. Just like again that genre blending of like electronic and the metal kind of thing. So, and they often get played on my show as well. So just as a band that I dig. And
I had no idea who they were before I saw them, and I watched their set, and my mind was just blown. Like it was so different for the time. Like I mean, there was other bands doing the whole like electronic thing, but they were so tight and they were animated and dramatic.
Yeah. And so I've sort of come across a lot of bands that have that sound as well. A few as was it Icy Stars and Palisades.
Yeah. Those are other bands that I would not mind ever hit the road with at some point.
So if I don't know if all three of you are there or if it's just two of you now. I'm not sure.
What?
Is Jerry there?
Oh, Zermane's there. He's just being quiet.
Oh, he's just being quiet. Okay, cool.
That's kind of his thing.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So, if you each want to pick 3 albums that made you the musician that you are today.
Wow.
It's a tough question.
It is.
Sorry. There's a lot of considerations. Like, you have to think there's a lot of bands people come up listening to that they stopped listening to when they are older, but then at the same time, they wouldn't have wound up where they are if that weren't for those initial formative bands that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna give one old, one medium, and one new because I really like to I get really inspired by newer artists, to be honest. Like, they keep me fresh. So
yeah. No, go for it.
Definitely number one album for me that made me who I am today is Korn's self-titled album.
Cool.
I would say middle-aged life isn't that far away from that, but Slipknot's Iowa is definitely something that pushed me to open my mind and just try to get into, like, heavier shit.
Yeah.
And I would say newer album that definitely keeps me going. I would have to say Periphery is self-titled.
Good band, that one.
They're amazing.
Mm.
Should I go next?
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah,
go for it.
For me, old would be like System of the Down, Toxicity.
Cool.
That, and then newer would be Skrillex, Scary Monsters, Night Sprites.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what really got me into, like, because I was originally producing like dubstep and stuff.
Yep.
Pretty sure you're familiar with that since you're from the UK.
I am indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started producing dubstep, and I slowly moved into like more hip hop, trap styled music.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a lot of dubstep influence in my music. So, and then probably also the Chronic. Just have to be cliche.
Good choice. It's a good choice though.
Dr. Dre. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I was never a big hip hop guy, but I always loved his stuff just because I love the sound of the synths he uses. Like, that kind of shit gets me.
The Moog.
Yeah. That, like, shaky fucking tone. Love that.
Nice.
How about you, Justin?
Yeah. See, for me, like, albums, like, early on is kind of rough because, like, the first, like, 10 or so years of my life, I listened to nothing but video game music. Like, I would fucking, like, leave the game and just listen to it.
Yeah.
But the first, like, album, or the first artist, rather, that got me, like, listening to, I guess, what people would call, like, real music would be Green Day, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, like, that's what got me started. My friend brought over Dookie, and that was it. And I started actually listening to, like, cassettes and shit.
Cool.
After that, I guess it's like another, like, kind of like a generic answer, but what kind of started me listening to heavier music was the Slipknot self-titled.
Cool.
And then more recent, even though it's not even that it feels recent, but it ain't, would be Withering to Death by Durian Gray, which I actually hated when it first came out, and then I saw them live on their first tour in the US, and then, like, the fucking energy of that show just sold me on the album so much, and they just became my favorite band to see live.
Nice.
And had so much influence on the way I approach writing.
Let's go back to your game music.
Yeah.
What was your favorite video game music?
Definitely Mega Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All the NES Mega Man games, and even, like, the Mega Man X ones. That has, like, they're so metal, and they have, like, they have those catchy lead melodies, but then if you listen to it, there's, like, these really complicated bass lines that you don't really get in, like, that kind of music usually.
Yeah.
It was like 8-bit Iron Maiden.
Nice.
Basically.
Nice. I used to love Streets of Rage soundtrack.
Oh my god, yes. That's one of the best soundtracks.
I just like you, I just left the game on and let the music play. And with the Genesis, it had like an headphone out, so I'd put it through my stereo. So
that's sick.
It was great. That and the other ones used to Outrun. There's another one. Sega's driving game. I know some of the Sonics were pretty good as well. I know this all seems to be Sega centric, but
oh yeah, definitely.
Some of the Sonic games had some pretty good tunes on there. So I was very much into my sort of like retro gaming. So, and that combined with my music, my love for music, kind of when you said that,
I kind of figured like where you wound up musically that might have like stuck out to you, the game music.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the things. I grew up playing a lot of video games, and ended up collecting a lot of old systems. And then when I moved here, I had to sell them all. But I know it sucks, but half of them wouldn't have worked here. So,
oh, that's right, because you got the different plugs and PAL, right?
Yeah. So the only thing that managed to work here was actually, so the modern systems worked here because my 360's PAL, my PS3's PAL, and my Wii's PAL as well. But I just changed the power supplies on them, and they work fine. So, but the older systems, I'd need like converters and all that kind of crap. But one day I intend to rebuild my collection.
There's actually I have a cousin who lives out your way. He's a vintage game collector, and he finds a lot of stuff at like fucking like yard sales and shit. Like
Free markets.
He has the craziest collection. He has like 8 fucking NES systems just kind of lying around.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I could do with one of those.
I actually went through a phase where, like, for like 3 months straight, I tried to create an alter ego where I just create like chiptune music.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I never felt like releasing it because it was just like a phase, like you just wanted to try something new, and then after a while you're like, this isn't really me. You just never release it.
That's cool. This goes on to my next question. What are your hobbies away from music? I'm taking it video games might be
definitely
probably one on that one.
Definitely. One of them.
Yeah.
That's really it. Honestly, I literally my entire life. I'm a barber as well, but I do it more for a hobby right now. It's not something I take seriously. But definitely video games. Like, I think that's all I do outside of play music and work. I mean, I run a recording studio, but that's music, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything I do is based around music. Even like, because I'm like, where I make most of my money is club promoting. Because I'm a DJ. Yeah. So other than that, like I'm either promoting clubs or making music, producing for a rapper or the band, obviously, or producing for myself as Xermane, releasing, solo tracks or collab tracks with other artists.
Check out his fire mixtape.
Yeah, check out my mixtape. It's Fuego.
Fuego.
Cool.
What about you, Justin? What do you do as a hobby besides masturbate?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I watch a shitload of wrestling.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
That's what I do.
Are you a network subscriber?
Yes. I subscribe to both the WWE Network and the New Japan World.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually stoked that WWE just signed like a bunch of like high-profile Japanese wrestlers.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do.
I hope they don't get wasted, but you never know.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get that a lot more demographic into their lineup, because I know they've recently got more Hispanics in there because they didn't have any for a while. That's why they got, was it Del Rio back, and Kalisto's now the US champion and everything. So
yeah, Kalisto is fucking amazing too. Like, I'm so happy that they're giving him a singles run.
Yeah.
Like even before, like he was doing amazing shit over in PWG in California. One sequence with Rich Swann where like they're just like exchanging flips and counter moves and it's like watching like a martial arts movie in front of you.
Nice. Yeah, I enjoy watching him on the shows and stuff. And I think SmackDown's coming to town in next week. I think. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys are getting the Royal Rumble down there.
Yeah, we got this in Orlando. I didn't realize that until I watched Raw the other night, and they said it was going to be in Orlando, and I was like, "Shit, I could have got a ticket."
That's my favorite one too.
Yeah, it's a good one. I enjoy that one. But yeah, no, I'm hoping to catch a couple of shows this year, and I subscribe to the network as well, so it was good going back once they released it, going back and watching all the old pay-per-views that I used to watch when I was a lot younger that I hadn't seen since. So it was still good. So.
Nice.
Cool. So we're going to wrap things up now, if that's all right. Basically, I'm just going to where can people reach you? What social media links, websites, things like that?
You can reach us on Facebook at facebook.com/wearejynx.
Cool.
You can reach us on Instagram at wearejynx. Twitter's the same, at wearejynx.
Cool.
Our email is wearejynx1@gmail.com.
Cool.
And you could add any of our personal profiles. We're all pretty open to talking to anybody.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, Jerry, Justin, Xermane, thank you very much.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you guys, and good luck with 2016. We just started it, so you've got a good sound, and I hope it carries you. I'm going to continue playing you on my show. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
It's a good time.
Have a good rest of your day, guys.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye. I'd like to welcome to this episode of the DJ Force X podcast, Daniel from Bury Tomorrow. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Okay, so I haven't got much time with you today, so we're just going to go straight into it. Can you tell me about the new album, Earthbound?
So I think it's the conscious effort to be able to emulate what we do live, and I think we're constantly trying to strive to get that, and to get fans to have the feeling that we have when we play live, or when they come and see us live, and I think we've really, really tried that with this album to make it no frills. There's no intros or outros, interludes. There's nothing. It is a metal track. It's like as close to seeing Bury Tomorrow live as it ever has been. So yeah.
Cool. Tell me about the new single from the album called Last Light.
Yeah, I think Last Light really. I suppose it's the most archetypal Bury Tomorrow song. I think it shows us off to the best of our ability when it comes to the heavier side, the more metal side, coupled with melody, and I think it shows the blend. There's a lot of parts of it where me and Jace, our guitarist, are doing vocals together, which is something that is quite hard to pull off. We've done it on a few of our older albums, but it's quite hard to pull off. Not making it sound very juxtaposition kind of style of thing, but it worked really well. And yeah, I think it's quite commercial. I think that's as commercial as Bury Tomorrow will really go anymore. I think for us, that we are a metal band, we stay true to that, and we don't want to be one of the bands that is changing their style, because I think we've been a band long enough to warrant being able to have our standpoint on metalcore, and that's what we are. Nice.
So you managed to get Jamie Jaster of Hatebreed to guest on the song 301. How did that come about?
So Jamie interviewed me for his podcast, The Jaster Show, and that was when we were playing a festival, and he hit me up and asked if I'd like to go and be interviewed by him, which obviously I said yes within about 30 seconds of being asked. And I went to his bus, Hatebreed's bus, and he interviewed me on the bus, which was a really cool experience for me. I've always been a fan of Hatebreed. I've been a fan of Jamie himself as well with his other projects. And it was really cool. It was talking about the music industry now versus the music industry when he started, and my feelings towards various aspects, whether it's meet and greets, downloading and all the aspects. So we had a really good chat, and it was nice to see he had his finger on the pulse when it comes to modern metal, which is something that, you'd almost prejudge someone like Jamie for, because he doesn't have to, he's been in a prestigious band, and people like him, Corey Taylor, they really make a effort to be very current when it comes to knowing new bands and putting new bands on, say, their tours and stuff. So I went away from the meeting thinking nothing else of it. And we wrote the track 301, which is about internet trolls. It's about people that prejudge bands before they've even really listened to the song. We're on a very heavy label. It is the way it is. We made a conscious decision to be on Nuclear Blast, and they made a conscious decision to have us with them. And, it's a bit of a risk on both parts, and Nuclear Blast has got a very heavy fan base. And for them to put out a band like ours, which is, deviates from the metal side to the lighter side, it's a risk for both parts, and it has opened us up, I suppose, to view the internet in that kind of way. And as we go on, YouTube, Spotify, all these things are used a lot more. And I wrote this song, which was basically about when you used to put out a video on YouTube, they used to cap it at 301 plus, which was obviously to stop viral things that they didn't want. And I wrote a song about the people that first go on your video are going to be the people that they hated the most. So as I was writing it, I kind of had a thought that maybe I should put on this track our guest vocalist. It'd be the first guest vocal spot we've ever done, and most people would expect singing. So I was like, well, we've got to have someone really heavy on, and I thought, Jamie, being Nuclear Blast now, and being an awesome dude and understanding what I was saying about that kind of music, that kind of side of the industry, is that I wanted him to be on it. And I hit him up. I tweeted him. We follow each other on Twitter. I tweeted him of all things Jamie getting in contact with Jamie Jaster on Twitter. And he said he was really into the vibe of the song, and he told me to send it to him. Within 10 minutes, the guy, 10 to 40 minutes, let's put it that way, he sent the track back with his vocals on it, which was unreal. To actually hear that moment, and hear that moment where Jamie is singing. Because the only thing, I didn't send him any lyrics, he did his own lyrics, because I wasn't going to send Hatebreed's lead singer any lyrics because it's Jamie. All I asked him to do was catch line it out with the 301, tell me where you came from, and to hear him even sing those words, which were my words, to be honest, is one of the best moments of my career, I would say. So yeah, Jamie's on 301 at 6.
That's freaking awesome. So you're going out on tour in February with Parkway Drive and Thy Art Is Murder. How excited are you for that?
Yeah, I mean, we're really really excited to get on the road with Parkway and Thy Art. You know, they're two big bands in their own right. You know, Parkway is one of those bands that it's kind of strange that we haven't toured with. You know, it's one of those weird pockets of music where you kind of get lost, and yeah, you should be touring together, but you don't. You know, and you're both doing your own things. It never works out. And for us, you know, that band influenced us when it comes to music, breakdowns. You know, that kind of like modern day feel, but a real band, you know, and also their outlook. They're a very positive band. You know, they love what they do. It's very clear when you watch them as live shows, when you watch them in their 2 DVDs that they have, is that they love what they do, you know, and that is an outlook that I think every band should be in. It's so focused around money these days, and it's so focused about, is this, you know, am I going to make a lot of money here, or is this really important, or, you know, and you should just be enjoying the experience. You know, if you can't do it anymore, don't do it, you know, and that's kind of Parkway's outlook. And so, yeah, I mean, couple that with Thy Art, who are a great band. They're, you know, testament to new music, a testament to the fact that they are a death metal band that are getting almost mainstream publicity. You know, everyone talks about them. People like Jeremy McKinnon from Day to Remember, you know, playing them on the radio and stuff like that. It's just outrageous. So they're a great band. We've had the pleasure of playing with them a few times. And then add that to the fact that it's the biggest shows we've ever played. Brixton Academy is a dream come true for our band to play. But yeah, I think we're ready. I think it's about time we showed people that we can be head support, you know, and it is a privilege to be able to go to Brixton and be a head support straight away and not go through the motions of being first on, second on, third on. We're going there with, you know, a fan base, an army of people that like our band, and that we can maybe introduce to Parkway, maybe introduce to Thy Art, and that's why we're on the bill. We're on their bill to draw people, and that's what hopefully we're doing.
Nice. So one of the final questions, what are your future touring plans after this Parkway Drive tour?
So, yeah, we finished Parkway and we head out on the Empiricon tour, basically, and which is great. You know, it's Hatebreed. So we talked a lot about Hatebreed, and it's great that we get to go on the road and get to talk to Jasper about, you know, all these things, and we can continue, you know, hopefully a friendship from that way forward. And there's some great bands on that bill, you know, Blessed for, North Lane, all those kind of bands, and it really shows, which is great. You know, I think a lot of the time, sometimes they can get a bit stagnant bills like that, you know, touring bills, is that they can either be the old school or they can be new bands. And I think the great thing about Empiricon is that they try to put a lot of effort into having the old school fans come out, coupled with, you know, bands like North Lane. And I know they're not new bands, but, you know, they've got a younger crowd. And it's the same as us, you know, we've kind of got a mix of both these days. So we go and do that, yeah, and then as scary as it sounds, we're into festival season, which is mind-blowing, you know, and we'll continue to ride off the back of Earthbound. And hopefully get to some place we have either touched on last year, you know, places like Russia, Australia, Japan, or play some new places, you know, places like South America, and get back over to the States. We haven't been there for 5 years, so it'd be brilliant to be able to get back out there and do some things. But, you know, it's going to be a touring year, and I think it's gearing up for the year after that being an even bigger touring year. So, yeah, it's almost like it's like an avalanche right now, and it's just about to kind of explode on January 29th.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for your time, and good luck with everything, and have a good rest of your day.
Cheers.
So there we have it. Thank you to David from Bury Tomorrow. Also, thank you to Jerry, Justin, and Xermane from Jynx. Go check out Jynx online. Go check them out on Facebook. We Are Jynx. Check them on Twitter at We Are Jynx. But go find their EP Taker on your streaming service, if you use one, Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of jazz. Or even check them out, go buy them on iTunes, Amazon, check out their website, do all that kind of stuff. It's a good EP. It's good solid 6 tracks. And yeah, the new Bury Tomorrow album, go pick that up as well. It's a good one. It's a solid album as well. So yeah, over the holidays, I just want to touch on this. I won't dwell on it because obviously it's been all over the news. But we lost some heavyweights in the music world. Natalie Cole, daughter of Nat King Cole, but a performer in her own right. We lost Lemmy. That was a big one. Lemmy from the loudest band on earth, Motorhead. A legacy that will live on throughout the ages. I guarantee it. He left such a footprint in the musical world that it's hard to ignore. And another huge hitter for the ages, David Bowie, who passed away last week through cancer. Same as Lemmy, cancer as well. But David Bowie, 51 years in music, 26 albums, over 100 singles. Not only music though, he was in films. A lot of people will know from the film Labyrinth, he was a Goblin King. But he will live on forever. And he will never be forgotten. And also today, as I'm recording this, we had some tragic news this morning that the actor Alan Rickman had passed. A fantastic actor in many films: Harry Potter, Die Hard, Galaxy Quest, Dogma, to name but a few films that he's been in that I have seen. And he was great in all of them. He's a fantastic character actor. And yeah, it'll be sorely missed. But again, a legacy that will live on through the ages. His art form will be appreciated. So yeah, obviously a tough start to the year on that front, but you know, it is a new year, so you've got to move on, you got to carry on, you got to do what you want to do, say what you want to say, and you know, live your life the way you want to, because tomorrows are never guaranteed. And that's how 2016 is going to be for me. I'm just going to be more open, you know, more. There's going to be more podcasts. You'll hear that. There's going to be more radio shows. You'll hear that. You know when it's on Total Rock Tuesdays, 11 p.m. GMT, and on the Mix.fm on Saturdays at 11 East Coast time. Both available via the TuneIn radio app or via their respective websites. But if you check out djforcex.com, all the information you need is there. Do that. I've got an on-demand bit as well, where you can listen again to my radio show. And obviously you can download this anytime off iTunes or Stitcher or anything like that. But there's going to be some big changes happening this year. I've already got the ball rolling on a couple of them. So again, stay tuned. Stay healthy. Have fun. And until next time, this is DJ Force X out.